Hey guys, this is ShadowQ, and this is my Box tutorial video. First, I'm going to talk about each of his moves and what they do, so that way you get a clearer understanding of how everything works together. First, his passive, you take less physical damage and get more magical power based on how drunk he is. And you get drunk by using your chug, which is your 1. And here you see a meter on the left side of the screen, and every time that you chug, the meter goes up, and when he's above each of these lines, he gains more magic power and takes less damage, and that's a huge amount. Like, taking 14% less damage is absolutely huge. So you want to try to keep this meter topped off at all times, unless you're going Goom or something like that. So just watch me chug real quick, and the meter will go up. Super simple like that. And the only other added benefit to chug is that it gives you protections when you use it for 6 seconds afterwards. So that's that move. Next move is called belly flop. It jumps in the air and knocks up the target. It also slows them afterwards. And it's basically your main initiate, and that's about it. Pretty simple move. Next is belch. And this move is actually really important. It only it only stuns the target afterwards if you're at least tipsy. So you have to make sure that you're not completely gone on the meter here. You have to be above the first line, basically, for this to stun. And it also has a healing debuff, and it just does damage. His ult is really a really important part of his kit. If he is at the highest point of the line, it intoxicates everyone that he's around and just does damage in a circle. And gives you a magic power buff afterwards. That's about it. Pretty simple stuff. But the important part of that is you have to be smashed in order for that to do anything. So let's talk about the moves one by one. Chug is a really important move because people actually use this move wrong, believe it or not. Other than just using it to make sure you have a meter over there, it's really important to use it right before you get hit by CC. So if you see an Agni Bomb, this is the easiest example to use. Like, this is before any move that you take damage in. But whenever you see like an Agni Bomb coming down at you, you know you're going to be stunned afterwards, or you know that you're just going to take damage. You should save your chug till you're about to take the damage. So like, let's say the Agni Bomb's coming down, you just chug right away. That's it. That's super simple. And this has no cast time. The cast time is literally instant, despite it having a long post cast time. It's really important to just chug right before you take CC. Next, you also basically you don't want to overcap the meter, so it doesn't need to be capped always, but you should know what percent the drunken meter goes up every time you chug, which increases per rank that you give it on. So at rank 1 it's 33%, which it'll be for most of the game. So you want to wait till you're at 67% to chug back up, and that will cap you without wasting mana, because if you're just doing this and overcapping on the bar, then you're just wasting mana like I did right there. That's about it for the chug. It's a pretty simple move. All that you really have to do is know that you have to use it before CC. Next, your jump. This is like your main initiate, and I'll talk about how you choose which one you max here. Most of the time I think I like to max flop, because the belch can be interrupted in so many ways, but there are a lot of comps that you can go against pretty often where they don't have an interrupt for your belch, and then that's really good. So it's really dependent on their comp. If you think that your belch is going to get interrupted, then just max the flop. If you think that it's not, then just max the belch. Because it's a damage of 20 per rank. God damn it, Mask. I'm just gonna go D&D. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm gonna max the belch when they can't interrupt it. That's pretty simple. Something I'm gonna talk about now is choosing which order to use these two moves in, because that's like the only complex thing about his kit for the most part. And in order for you guys to understand why, you have to understand DRs. And DR stands for diminishing returns, and the context that I'm talking about this in is crowd control. And there's something in Smite called diminishing returns for crowd control, which whenever you take a CC, a hard CC, which is basically everything but roots. Silence is included for some reason, God knows why, but silences are included in hard CC category. Whenever you take a CC, a knock-up, a stun, anything, you get DRs applied to you, which means every single CC move hitting you for the next 15 seconds lasts a shorter duration. And that's super important when knowing how to use Bacchus' moves, because if you do your jump and then your belch, the belch duration is reduced. But if you do your belch and then your jump, even though jumps apply or knock-ups apply diminishing returns, they don't get affected by them. So the first CC you use after 1 DR is on the person lasts for two-thirds the duration, and the second and so on lasts for 1/3 of the duration. So if I do my jump to belch, my belch will last 2/3 as long. If I do belch to jump, it'll last normal time, both of them. And that's really important when deciding which move to use first, because if you belch first, you have to think of a couple things. It will get more value because it's more overall CC time, and it guarantees that you can jump. But this is probably not how you're going to be initiating most of the time, because you kind of just want to surprise factor, like jump them over a wall or jump the max range, and that's how you can initiate, because they can either beads the stun or jump away from it. But let's say you're against a Nua whose stun is down or something, and you can just belch them to initiate. That's great, because then you can guarantee the flop afterwards, making there be no risk whatsoever for missing the flop, and that's the important part of that. Generally, you do want to do it the other way around, though, but in cases where you know that you can get the guaranteed full belch off, you do want to do it this way. It's really, really simple. You just aim the flop exactly where you're doing it. So next I'll show the other way to initiate, which is just to flop over walls or max range, and part of Bacchus is just being really aggressive and taking initiative. And you really, really just want to look for a max range jump or a jump over a wall or something, and then go on somebody. And then you're belching afterwards. It might hit, it might not, but it doesn't matter because you got the initiate off for your team, and that's really the point of him. And another huge part of Bacchus is that you just have to watch where your team is, because if your teammates aren't there to follow up, your initiate is pointless. And you should probably like VGS or getting cursed with them or something, because Bacchus' initiate is one of the strongest in the game when people aren't expecting it. It's long range, it's a knockup, so you can't beads it unless you pre-beads it, which people usually don't do, and it can get surprise initiates, which are generally really good. So next I want to talk about the full combo, and thinking back to DRs, if I do my jump, belch, and then alt will be 1/3 duration. I'll show you guys this real quick, and I won't be able to show you the full combo again because it has some cooldown, but I'll jump, then belch, they're stunned, and then look how short my alt lasts. It lasts 1/3 of 8 seconds because they were double DR'd. So taking that into account when you're alting on Bacchus is really important, because sometimes you want to just use the jump to belch initiate, and then not alt. Unless you're going to get a kill right then and there, you generally want to wait till on your alt. Obviously, if you're going to get the kill, you just pop it for the damage, that doesn't matter. But if you can hold your alt for later in a team fight, that's absolutely huge. You know, a 2 whatever second alt is much, much less impactful than an 8-second disorient, which is huge. So generally, you don't want to use your alt on somebody unless you're just going to wombo combo them in the jump belch alt combo. And the only other thing that I want to talk about is, as far as like how you combo and stuff like that, is using auto attacks in between. So basically, as soon as you land from the jump, you want to auto attack, and then as soon as you belch, you want to auto attack, and then as soon as you finish the alt, you want to auto attack. So basically, you just want to auto attack in between every moves. Watch carefully, because this is how it looks. It's pretty simple. So you just jump, auto attack belch, auto attack alt. And I could have chained that a little bit closer, but still, that you guys get the point, basically. And that's the combo for if you're one-shotting somebody. Next, we'll talk about the different parts of the game, and we'll start with laning phase. The minions just got here. Generally, Bacchus' laning phase is really, really weak, because people can go on you if you go in. If, let's say, you just jump in, people are going to punish you for that. You also do lower damage than most other supports, so it doesn't really matter that you get the damage, because he's only hitting 3 out of 6 minions. The jump, that is. And they should be able to go on you after that. But if you are able to max the belch and you don't want to jump in, the only other way to clear is to stand like to the side here, and it's really hard to show in jungle practice since there's not really enough room. But you want to stand off to the side like this and then just belch, and you can hit all 6 creeps. It's really hard to show like I did there, but just pretend it's, you know, a little bit wider of a lane and you can belch and hit all 6 creeps. And that's like the main way to wave clear. Plus, if your ADC auto attacks after you belch, there's a good chance that you can hit all 6 with that, but in order for that to happen, they have to be such a non-aggressive lane that first off, they don't already clear faster than you, and they aren't able to punish you by standing all the way up in their face like that. So I would, in general, recommend not trying for wave clear on Bacchus. I don't think you're going to get lane pressure most of the time. It's really hard to show here, I'm sorry, because of the way the map is, but that's how you would do it, and then you can just jump afterwards, and if it kills the whole wave, then that's great, but generally you just do so much less damage than other supports that it hurts. Generally, as a Bacchus lane, you kind of want to just sit all the way back and let them push, because he's really weak in the very early game. Once you get to the mid game, though, your entire job is to initiate, and you can't just do okay and think that you're playing Bacchus alright. You have to be aggressive, and you have to tell your teammates to come with you. Because if you're not being opportunistic, you're dropping kills, more or less, unless you're already behind or something like that. But your goal is to just look for picks in the mid-game. Just look for jumps max range, and make sure your teammates are there to follow up. And if they have someone that can't jump like a Ra or something, then you can belch the jump first, which should really, really initiate the fight really well. And late game is basically the same as mid-game. except if you miss the flop, that's super, super punished, and even if you do hit the flop, you'll die much faster, so make sure you're chugging as soon as you jump in, and try to get out pretty quickly. I guess that's about it for my video. If you guys have questions or anything, post them in the comments below. Appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.